Welcome. This is Alvin Fan. I'm the CEO of OP Investment Management. This is, of course, Alpha Uncovered. We have a very special guest with us today, the founder and CIO, David from Quarktek Global, who's one of the platform managers, runs a TMT fund focusing on not just the global landscape, but also with an edge here in Asia as well, especially with the recent surge in AI. The fund has done particularly well in 2023. Definitely one of our best performing funds on the platform. David, welcome.
Hi, Alvin. Thanks for having me here today.
Well, David, congratulations. You guys had a great year, 2023, definitely with some tailwinds on the back of NVIDIA doing so well. There's been a lot of buzz around the sector. But before we talk about this theme that seems to continually go on forever and continually drive up prices for not just the sector, but for the entire S&P and NASDAQ, I want to maybe first, for those of us and for those who are just meeting for the first time, maybe you can just give us a quick take on your strategy and how you approach the market.
Right. Okay. We are a tech hardware fund with a focus on the Greater China and Japan. But certainly, US is always the biggest tech market with all these multinational and dominant players in the space. So we are also investing in US. So in terms of AI, I think this is always the one thing that gets everybody excited, including myself. I have been in this industry for nearly a quarter century. I have never been more excited than I have ever been. This is really a game changer for everybody. I think this will look bigger and will come faster than how you experienced in the internet era. Faster than when I was in primary school. We first had our PC. This is why it's bigger, and this is even probably as big as the industrial revolutions. So I'm very excited, and obviously that's all things are very, very dynamic. But what we can see is that we have a very strong growth outlook going forward, and this will drive a lot of things. If I simply looking at my portfolio, before the call, I think people will ask how much your portfolio is invested. I always everything, a lot of things related to AI. I mean, if you look at say TSMC, I wouldn't call it AI stocks, but so we take that away. But if a stock portfolio that focus on this AI semantic idea, it's probably about 30% in our portfolio. That obviously including NVIDIA as well. But as the technology at the roadmap is getting clear, even that if we look at NVIDIA, new products are looking at that, this GB200 Opera, which going to have a tremendous computing power, just really making something they just launched. They just launched H100 last year, and now they are making this H100 look like an obsolete dinosaurs. So things are moving very, very fast, and everything change will mean that there are opportunities in the industry because they are technology that need to be enabled to those new changes. So they could be ranging from semiconductor technologies or hardware like CCL or IC substrates. So we are focusing on the overall supply chain, looking at technologies that are enabling those breakthroughs. And we believe that because those are something new, something coming very fast, and it's very difficult for even, I think, professional investors not sitting in this part of regions to able to discover. And so we are in a very good position to adding value for our investors.
So David, I want to break this down. Since we're on the topic, we might as well dive into it. One thing that I find remarkable about the AI narrative is all the different levels of the ecosystem, from the tech stack down to the application level, are really affected by this emergence or this narrative. And by that, I mean, you have the supply chain side, you have the manufacturing, all the way to the innovation and research and R&D, down to how it's being used in applications right now and being outsourced, and how it's not only helping existing the software as a service companies, SAS, but also disrupting certain companies and perhaps creating a threat for a lot of different types of, I guess, service-driven and even professional jobs that are out there, but also create opportunities. So I just want for the audience to be aware, where in this spectrum is Quarktek playing? Is it primarily in the semiconductor and the supply chain side, or are you also looking downstream?
Our focus is because as we mentioned, that we are focusing on tech hardware. So a lot of the focus will really on the semiconductor supply chain as well hardware, and also including the equipment side, the semiconductor side. And I think at this stage, this is the best place you should be, because I think there's a lot of people already drawing that examples. If you look back at the internet age, back in the 1995, 1996, a lot of the soft application company, the wonders at that time, it doesn't matter it's Yahoo, it doesn't matter it's Netscape, or AOL, it doesn't exist anymore. So at the first stage, it's really the hardware arm suppliers that is going to benefit, because you need to have an infrastructure first before everything happens. I think that's the first part. The second part is that I think for actually a lot of the software company or application company, what they are facing is really a disruptive change. Now, you don't know who is going to be a winner coming out of that disruptive change. So there's going to be bloody battle, because normally there's only one winners coming out of companies, new entrants. And before that battle finish, you don't know who will be the winner. But what you know is that for the battle, everybody have to stockpile their weapons, ammunition, and that is where that you have to buy hardware right now.
Some of the teams that I speak to here in Asia have talked about how a lot of the sell-side analysts, when they were looking at NVIDIA in particular, had really missed the mark, especially those who cover Taiwan. There's a big dispersion between sell-side analysts who were not based in Asia, had really underestimated what the earnings would be, while those who were in the region could really see, especially looking at the supply chain side, what the real demand was, and could work out that, in fact, consensus was wrong. Was this the case for your team, and how do you feel about that dislocation in consensus?
Yeah, I think that's part that one channel check, basically you channel check across the supply chain, make a difference here. Because, NVIDIA give you a guidance that whether there will be a guidance somehow, especially company in Taiwan, which they give out monthly sales, a company give out forecast, and then you speak to them supply chains, and they will tell you things are going on better, or, because the NVIDIA and others have to give them a production forecast. So that's why you have a better feel of versus, I think, people, sitting, quite far away from this part of the world. But on the other hand, it's really your conviction and your understanding for all, in some way, your belief how this is going to change the world. I think not too long ago, people believe that, well, you don't have monetizations, you don't see people paying for that service, so this cannot continue. But if you see who is buying those computing power, it's really the software companies, it's the industrial company, like TSMC, like Intel, it's like, a Tesla. Those are people that buying not just the cloud service provider, but the actual enterprise. They are deploying those AI because they know if I use that AI technologies, I can do much better than my competitors. And so when TSMC are using AI to, checking out their defect, or semiconductor fabless company using those AI to design their chip faster and optimizing their technology much better than the others, what will happen to their competitors? And their competitors understand. So everybody is going to rush in and deploying AI as their productivity tool. So this is a 2B business, not a 2C business. I think there's a lot of people still, talking about, well, we need to see that people actually paying for it. Yes, people pay for it. But there's the enterprise paying for it, because in software industry, as we mentioned, the people, the company, and the enterprise that are able to adopt and deploy AI faster and better will win that, will come out from the battles. And everybody is rushing in and procuring those computing and AI power. So that is something that you have to, I think we probably have a bit better view, the channel to see who is actually using it, and that gives us convictions.
Let's break that down a little bit further. When for investors looking at the supply chain side, how would you describe the different buckets, right? Because on the input side, you have NVIDIA, then you have chips, and then you have wafers, you have testing systems. Well, how do you look at the different buckets, and more importantly, which one excites you the most?
Well, I think there are different type of players in the market. They are always the beneficiary. They will just, because of this AI trend, they benefit a lot. So I would typically call the ODMs, because the landscape has, if you're looking at the computing industry for the last 30 years, it has started with always back in the 90s. There were, tens and hundreds of companies. And now, you have, until the AI pick up, it was no longer a fashionable industry. And there was, if you're looking at who is supplying to the cloud service provider, there are only 4 companies. Everyone has their own supply chain. If you supply to Microsoft, if you look at Google, they don't change their supply chain because each of them have their team, they have a individual know-how. So there are companies that they are doing it for the last 20, 30 years, and they are still doing the same thing, but because the surge of demand, that they benefit. So that's the first part. I think those are great. So they will be benefiting for the next couple of years. That's the first bucket. The second bucket I would say called is the technology enabler, because for your computing power to grow that much, so strong, something has to change, right? So that including you have things that be faster, material have to be special materials, so adopting new technology. So something we mentioned about like advanced packaging, let's call it, it doesn't matter whether it's a CoWoS, it doesn't matter it's HCD packaging. There's some new technology you need to apply. And with the new technology, demand for that particular technology will grow by 20-30% CAGR in the next few years. Even, in fact, those changes are probably not linear, but a sort of a step-up function. So let's say the chiplet size, if you look at, say, AI overall servers, the chip in terms of the area of that substrate, in terms of the layer counts, it goes 2 times, 3 times. If we look at something that's very hot, people talk about thermal, the content of thermal grows by 10 to 15 times. So if you're looking at thermal company, their dollar value will go up 10 to 15 times when NVIDIA launched their next generation products. So those are people that also been doing the same thing for last 30 years. Though they are critical technology that it's not that difficult to make, but the technology-wise, the content dollar just jumped on a significant level. It could be a couple times, 100%, it could be 20-30%. So those are the companies we are also invested. Now, they are also a part, last part, that we are very, very critical technologies. For example, in the high-performance compute, you need to spin up, you have to be slicing your wafer, you have to spin your wafers. In terms of semiconductor, in terms of equipment, that's a lot of, everybody knows about EUV, ASML, but there's a lot of companies that are also very critical. They have 95% market share. That are the most important thing that they have able to deliver that technology, or otherwise every other thing doesn't work. So those are also critical technology companies we also invest. So I think equipment side, we have like in Japan, chemical in Japan, and also in US and Taiwan as well. So those are the third bucket of companies that I think TSMC always fall into that category because they offer the most advanced wafer manufacturing, also advanced packaging. So that's probably a good example of that. Those are critical technology, to enable all these inventions possible.